Am I supposed to do it?
I don't know. Do you want to do it?
Okay. Hi! Welcome to Shifting Gears with Kat.
Hello, everyone. I've got a few questions here for Kat that I'm going to ask today. I think we're going to just have a little bit of fun. Question number 1. How many times have you been pulled over for speeding over 100 miles per hour?
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Remember, the question is how many times?
What? I don't remember, actually.
You should remember how many times.
I think 2.
2 is right.
Okay.
Can you tell us a story about one of them?
Oh, so my first speeding ticket was going 125 miles an hour. This is actually a good story because recently I saw on a Facebook friend's page, they said, I may be old, but I got to see Jerry Garcia. And actually, this ticket was gotten right after Jerry died. I was actually friends with, I still am, friends with family of the Grateful Dead. And when Jerry died, I wanted to go up and see them. And I was living in Los Angeles at the time, and I had a 1994 Z28. Her name was Christine. And I drove up the 5 late at night. And for anybody who's made that drive, it's kind of nothing. There aren't any on-ramps, there aren't any off-ramps. It's just a straight shot for a very long time. And when... So I should say, I did not mean to be going 125 at this moment in time, because when you're driving in the middle of nowhere late at night and you're in a car like that, sometimes your foot gets heavy because you're just not thinking. So what happened is I was just not thinking, driving along, going about $1.25 on the 5 going to San Francisco, and I got pulled over. Well, I had pretty blacked out windows on my Camaro, and it was the middle of the night, and this was a felony stop, so I got pulled over at gunpoint. And I had to get out of the car, and they saw I was a 17-year-old girl, so they decided to write me down to 99, so I didn't lose my license on my first ticket. What I didn't tell the cop was that I had basically topped out my car shortly before he caught me, so he busted me at 125, but I was going almost $1.60 before that. And that's probably why I didn't realize why I was going so fast, because to me it wasn't that fast. But that was my first speeding ticket.
Do you remember which state the second one was in?
New Mexico.
New Mexico.
Yeah.
Has your husband ever been pulled over for going over 100 miles per hour?
No.
No. The moral of the story is I'm a better driver. A better speeder, I guess.
No, you got pulled over on our first date.
I have been pulled over many times.
Okay, but I was
but
laughing.
Never for going over 100 miles an hour. Well, you just ruined question number 3. Thank you.
Oh.
The question number 2. Was your dad ever pulled over for speeding over 100 miles an hour?
That I don't know, but I do know that they tried. We lived in Bedminster, and there was a back road that we would take home. I don't know what it was called at this point, but it ended up on River Road. And there was a spot before you got to the light where you just knew the cops sat. It was it was a perfect place for them to sit in the driveway. And he blew... I should also say he was the only person in this rural area with a banana yellow NSX. And he blew past the cop going really fast. We were on our way back from lunch, I think. And the officer started following him. Of course, my father was going a lot faster, so he didn't catch up with us. And we got home, and my father drove it into the garage. He shut the door, and he said, "Shh, be quiet." And the officer's knocking on the garage saying, "Mr. DeLorean, we know it's you." And he's like, "Shh, if they don't catch me, they can't give me a ticket." And we sat in the garage until the officer went away, and he didn't get a ticket. So, yeah.
So what you're saying is it runs in the family. It's in your DNA, maybe.
I guess. I don't run from the police, though. That was not... He actually did tell me that he got back in touch with the officer and he apologized because we were friends with all the cops around there. So it was kind of in good fun.
And you other fun stories about speeding and your dad?
Oh, you mean the time where he shut the headlights off? And
Yeah.
oh, okay. So again, we lived in Bedminster, and behind our house there was this rural road called River Road, and it was a beautiful twisty, a lot like the roads that we go on when you drive the rally race in Celebration. And one night with me in the car, mind you, this is rural New Jersey, so there are deer everywhere. My father shuts the lights off in the car, turns them off, pitch black. There's no street lights. This is a river and a road, and that's all. And he's going about 140 miles an hour in his NSX. And I'm terrified because it's pitch black. There's no seeing of anything that's happening for anybody, especially at that speed. But I guess he knew the road really well, and we made it home just fine. I might have needed a new pair of pants, but that was quite the thrill. Yeah.
That is fun. Well, you kind of blew up my question number three here, so I'm going to kind of shift gears and go a different direction. Has the sentence, "This Ferrari is not going fast enough, I'm going to pass him," ever come out of your mouth?
Yes.
Where were you? What was happening?
Yes. So again, for those of you who don't know, there was this fabulous car show that's put on in Florida to raise money for almost always Make-A-Wish. One time it was Special Olympics, I believe, but it's for charity. It's absolutely incredible. I highly recommend anybody go if they get a chance. There's some of the most beautiful exotic cars that you'll get to see, and I mean Disney World bonus, I guess. But the last day is a rally race, the last day is a rally race, and you get to take your cars and rally race around Florida. And there's beautiful back roads, and you have to solve the puzzles along the way. So not everybody's going as fast. It's not just driving your car and having fun. You have to actually answer the questions. You don't want to miss the puzzles because you can win the rally at the end. So we we had rented a Corvette, right? Yeah. Because I wasn't driving. Right. Okay. Because there was the time we were driving the really cool little Dyna car.
In this case, we were in the Stinger.
Okay, yes. And we pulled up behind a Ferrari, and he was going way too slow. So I had to pull around him and pass him. And Jason tells everybody that story because I literally said, "This Ferrari is going too slow. I need to drive around him."
Just for the record, were there houses around, or was it just like
what are you trying to do? Turn me!
I'm going to go ahead and...
What's the statute of limitations on these stories
I'm
you're
going
telling?
to go ahead and I'm going to talk about question 3. It's not really a question, but maybe you can add to it. On our first date, we went to Disneyland. Now, on the way to Disneyland on the freeway, I was pulled over for speeding with a Mustang.
Yes.
Now, when the cop came up to the car, he came up to the passenger side, which was where you were sitting. When I opened the window, what was your reaction to the police officer? Were you apologetic? Were you respectful? Or were you laughing uncontrollably?
I was laughing uncontrollably, but do you want to let them know why? Because that's kind of rude unless you do.
Well, you can let them know why.
Okay. Well, Jason had pulled up at a stoplight in his Camaro next to Z28, should be clear. And there was a Mustang next to him. We're in Los Angeles. And the car wants to race him off the line. And Jason starts when the light turns green. And I said, "What are you doing? You don't have to race him. You know your car's faster. All you do is get a ticket." And Jason says, "You know what? You're right." And he slows down. And because he slowed down, he's the one the cop caught. I didn't mean for that to happen, but he did get pulled over immediately after. And unfortunately for him, I guess I was incredibly rude and started laughing hysterically because I told him so. But I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry that happened.
That's quite all right. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the questions. We will talk again very soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.